Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel or welcome back. Today I'm going to be discussing my most anticipated fantasy book releases for the month of November. But before we go ahead and get on into the books, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well as giving this video a like to throw my channel a little bit of support. The first book is The Great and Terrible by Gina Showalter. This is a new series called Out of Ozland. I have read Gina Showalter before. I think I read two of her Truth Blood books. She writes YA fantasy and just kind of bizarre stories, and this one sounds exactly like something that she would put out. In this book, we are following 21-year-old Moira. She is a college dropout, and one day she finds herself catapulted into an Oz-like style realm after she entered an abandoned cathedral to escape a storm. The land she finds out is fantastical but incredibly brutal, where there is a class system, and the innocents are the ones that suffer for the crimes of the elite. In order to get home, Moira travels to the city of Lux because there's rumored to be a portal there that will get her back to her world. On her way to Lux, Moira ends up picking up a couple of misfit side characters, a scrappy hustler, a cranky ex-mayor, a beast dog, and one who she finds herself oddly attracted to, an executioner. Together they must battle the strange beasts as they are on their way to the city of Lux, and Moira ends up learning about dark and terrible secrets that this land holds, and may have to decide if going home is really something she wants to do. The Great and Terrible's release date is November 4th. Then we have Fortune's Kiss by Amber Clement. Fortune's Kiss is a magical gambling house, and it shows up twice a year on the solstices to a new city. But this is not a reputable gambling house because people go here to wager their souls for things like wealth, their most intimate desires, and even things like immortality. We are following two different characters. The first one is Mayte. I'm not really sure if that's how you pronounce the first name, but she is the only daughter of a disgraced family, and all she wants to do is leave her family behind and become a famous painter. Then we are following Lo, and Lo lives with an abusive father, and her mother disappeared inside of Fortune's Kiss a couple of years ago, and Lo just wants to find her. When Fortune's Kiss arrives at their city once again, both girls make a pact to enter the gambling house, and they are successful. Once they get inside, the girls learn that this is actually a dangerous place to be. Things are not always as they seem. Expected release date is November 12th. Next, we have The Courting of Bristol, Keats by Mary E. Pearson. I have read The Remnant Chronicles by her and really enjoyed it. I really couldn't get into Dance of Thieves by her, which has kind of put me on the fence if I really want to make reading this book a priority. After losing her parents, Bristol and her sisters are really struggling to stay afloat and survive in their small town. One day, Bristol receives a letter from an aunt that she never knew that she had. This aunt promises that she can help Bristol and her sisters, and reluctantly, Bristol agrees to meet, and the aunt unveils to them secrets about Bristol's family that she never knew. Her father, who Bristol and her sisters thought was dead, might have been kidnapped and taken to this really brutal, dangerous fairy realm. Desperate to save her father and find out the truth, Bristol decides to travel to this fairy realm, where she's pulled into a world of magic and intrigue and has to make a bargain with the fairy king himself for assistance. But what Bristol doesn't know, as this fairy king is the one that forced her parents to leave the fairy realm in the first place, and he has his own reasons for wanting Bristol's father. This book honestly sounds like a lot of fun, and it's totally piqued my interest. Expected release date is November 12th. Next, we have The Serpent and the Wolf by Rebecca Robinson. In this book, we're following a main character named Vasa, and Vasa recently lost her mother, her only remaining parent, to a mysterious dark magic that has also recently awakened inside of Vasa herself. She has a merciless older brother who views her as a threat to the crown and will do anything to get rid of her. In one last political scheme, her brother marries her off to a foreign ruler, hoping that he can use her death as a means to invade this foreign land. Desperate to live, Vasa enters this marriage with the intent to get out of it as fast as possible to flee and survive. But to her surprise, her new husband Reed offers her a deal. Help him win votes to rise in power and she can walk free. In exchange, he will teach her how to use her new magic and help keep it at bay. And as her brother's lethal machinations begin to threaten Reed's rule and his realm, Vasa has to decide whose side that she's really on, as well as if their political marriage is turning into something more like the real thing. Expected release date for The Serpent and the Wolf is November 19th. Next, we have We Shall Be Monsters by Alyssa Wees. This is another fantasy involving fae. We are following a main character named Gemma. Gemma lives with her mother in an antique shop in Michigan. This antique shop is next to a small patch of woods that hides an enchanted gate to the fairy realm. Gemma has always been warned by her mother not to go near the woods, not to go near the gate, but obviously Gemma's curiosity is piqued the older she gets, and she doesn't listen. Virginia is still concerned about her daughter Gemma because she knows the lure of the forest because she was enraptured by it. There is a witch that lurks in this fairyland, and she actually put a curse on Gemma's father Ash and turned him into a beast. If Virginia, Gemma's mother, cannot break the curse before Gemma turns 15, then the beast will seek out his daughter and eat her heart. All Virginia has to do is break the curse, and none of this will happen. But everything changes when the witch ends up stealing Virginia away rather than Gemma, and Gemma is forced to go into the fairylands in order to save her mother and find her father, who has been cursed as a ruthless, savage beast. This is a dual point of view story between mother and daughter, Gemma and Virginia, and I really think that it will have a lot of themes surrounding parental love, and sacrifice. Expected release date for We Shall Be Monsters is November 12th. And lastly, we have the Songbird in the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent, which is the third book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I honestly have not read the second book yet, so I have not even looked at the synopsis for the third book because I don't want to be spoiled, but I wanted to include it on this anticipated release video because it does come out on November 19th. Okay, you guys, that is it for my most anticipated fantasy book releases for the month of November. Let me know which of these books you're most excited for, or if you had the chance to read them yet, gotten an arc, etc., and what you thought of them. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in another video soon. Goodbye.